Well, hello all. Juggle Julia here. No matter how many times I say that, it still feels good. Ordinarily with these videos, I usually kind of stick to wearing more stereotypical feminine-like clothing. During this update, I wanted to show you what I normally look like whenever I leave the house. I will admit there are some days I'm feeling a little more feminine, so I dress a little more feminine. But for the most part, this is what I wear when I leave the house. Standard t-shirt, probably a little bra underneath because, well, I'm not really sure if it's acceptable to just kind of see 2 points sticking out so much. And plus on top of that, I really like the support that the bra has right now. But, yeah, if I was just out wandering the street, this is me. Maybe someday I'll build up the courage to wear a dress, but, for now, this is basically it. Just a t-shirt and pants, or shorts, depending on the season. So, this update is going to be relatively short. I don't really have a whole lot to discuss here. And besides, being 1 month away from the 1 year anniversary, I'm still very happy about that. I figure this will be the episode I'll ask if there's anything you'd like me to cover, and then I will put that in the year video. So here's the other thing I want to mention about the year video as well. I'm going to be rating it 18 plus. There are a few things I feel that need to be discussed in a more mature manner that I don't think would probably be a bit of a problem or two without the higher rating. And also, I plan to make this 1 year video to be based on the idea that nobody has seen any of the other updates that I made up until this point. So I'm just going to cover everything up for the year-long celebration. Let's see, 11 months. Well, here are really the biggest things that happened. So the first thing is I've started to grow my nails out. It's not that it was necessarily hard to do, it's just I find they usually tend to crack or they get kind of uneven every so often, but here they seem to be holding their own alright. And in ways, it almost feels like I have special powers. Like if I need to open something, I can just take the thumbnail and scrape along the edge. Or if I ever need to get down underneath something that has a pull tab, I can use the nail as well. It's kind of nice. On one hand, I wish I could have done this sooner. But on the other hand, if I'm eating something messy like Cheetos or something, they get stuck underneath the nail real easily, and it's kind of hard to clean out, in all honesty. One of the more interesting aspects of transitioning, I guess. I'm not really sure if I ever mentioned it as well, but I never really had a problem growing out my nails. My nails grow really fast. Like, this is probably about as big as they get after about maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Well, I've been trying to grow my hair out for about 9 months. I wish my hair would grow as fast as my nails. I was kind of half hoping maybe the hormone treatment would take care of that, but oh well, I'll get there eventually. But if nothing else, one of the fun things about the way my hair is now is I can just kind of swish it around. It's fun. And I guess another thing to mention about the hair as well is that I'm a little disappointed that it's not straightening out. I was kind of hoping that basically after it would get enough weight to it, that it would straighten out to a point where it would appear longer. With it being more curly and poofy like this, it mostly just kind of stays in place. Like, if I were to get my hair wet, it'd probably look like I got a bit more volume on me. But not by much. There's only really 2 other things to mention, so I think in another video of mine, I've discussed that I'm not the only transgender person at the company anymore. And I kind of I take pride in the idea that I helped her ease the process a little bit. I have met with her a few times since, just kind of giving her a few pointers, answering questions, stuff like that. Because I will admit, when I started this transition process, all I really got was like online forums, and that was about it. I never really met anybody in the real world that was transgender. So it's kind of nice to be able to have somebody a little more familiar and even a little further along to kind of be like, okay, when you get to this fork in the road, take the left. If you take the right, it's going to take longer. Just stay clear out of it. Kind of a trailblazer, I think would be the term for it. And really the only last thing to mention is, well, even before I started on hormones, I was always very interested in trying to get my voice to sound a bit more feminine. When I first started this process of voice feminization, I was really more concentrated in the physical aspect of it. The idea of making it so your Adam's apple would go up here, and then you would just kind of be able to speak normally in a higher voice. The only problem is with this process, as soon as you let go, it goes deep again. I mean, I think there's ways to naturally raise it, but it's very hard to be able to do so and make it sound convincing. Like, for me, it just feels like I sound like I'm on helium. Now, this right here, this is my normal speaking voice. It's higher than it used to be, but I still get called sir or son or a lot of other male-related things, and I feel like that's probably what's throwing them off. The other thing, maybe the 5 o'clock shadow as well. Thankfully, it doesn't really show up too well in this camera, but if you were to see me in the real world, you'd probably see like a few little brown patches every so often, and it's very annoying. But even more annoying is it's kind of expensive to remove. Like I said, I was more concentrated on physically raising the voice up. That way I didn't have to think about it. But however, there was another strategy I heard. Basically, there's this one online YouTuber. I'll put a link in the description. Maybe they'll help you out on your little journey as well. They did a video that covered everything you needed to know about basic voice feminization. Now, what I found rather fascinating is there was very little in terms of like the physical aspect of trying to raise the Adam's apple up and that kind of thing. But it was more about the idea about how to do it in a more convincing way. So the main thing I remember was it seems like whenever people talk in a higher voice, they put the same volume as they do when they talk normally. Now, like I said, it sounds like I'm on helium. But if you go a little softer, I think this sounds a bit more convincing. But the main thing is you don't want it to sound airy either. You want it to sound more natural rather than like, well, I was just kind of adding some air to it. There's a big difference between that and, well, I was just trying to add some air to it. It's more about the volume and the pitch. I remember they use two different terms instead. But pitch is how high the voice is and how much power you put behind it. So I'm not really sure if you think I sound more feminine or more natural that way. But I feel like I'm getting there when I speak this way. The only big problem is I really have to concentrate in order to do this. Because if I'm in a normal conversation, I'm just gonna sound like this again. All in good time, though. If anybody has, like, good voice feminization tips, let me know. It's like the one area of expertise I know next to nothing about. It's a lot like driving stick. I understand the theory behind it, but I've never actually been successful in doing so. Well, I think that's about it, really. So, once again, the next episode I'm going to be making of this is my year-long anniversary on hormone replacement treatment. So in there, I'm going to answer all your dying questions that you have left in this video, as well as cover everything. It'll be a giant summary of my journey so far. And the other thing as well, it's going to be rated 18 plus. Part of the idea of feminizing is, well, you have to talk about more of the naughty stuff as well. And that's about as dark as I can go for this more general audience video. So for the next video, you're going to see me go a lot more out. I hope you'll join me then. Until next time, be yourself, no matter who that is.